What's up everyone, I'm CallumOnToast and you guys absolutely smashed the like goal in the previous video. So in today's video, we're going to be taking a look at some of the best viewer submitted battles of the season. You guys killed it with the insanely spicy submissions this season, and as a result, we've got another 40-minute banger of a video to round out the season. So with that being said, let's just get into the question of the day. What has been your favorite video featuring viewer battles that I've uploaded this season? Let me know in the comment section down below, and with that being said, let's get into the battles now. So going into the next battle, we see Bonsly into Whiscash. So once again, not a great lead, gonna swap into our Drift Blim, and the opponent responds with Registeel. This is a matchup we should be able to flip now that we've got Mystical Fire and a slight energy advantage. So we go for the first one there. It's super effective. Honestly, it doesn't do that much damage against a non-Shadow Registeel, but it doesn't really matter too much. They're gonna debuff our attack as well with the Zap Cannon. We go for Mystical Fire number 2. We're gonna make it to our third one before they make it to the second Zap Cannon. And this will be enough to take out the Registeel, so they do commit a shield, but at this point they are triple debuffed. This Zap Cannon is not going to be enough damage to take out the Drift Blim, so we will be able to overfarm just a little bit, go for Mystical Fire number 4 into the Registeel and regain switch advantage. They also come in with the Medicham. We go for a Shadow Ball that looks like it's a CMP tie as well, and Shadow Ball does grab the final shield from the opponent, and we can safely let this move go through. It's an Ice Punch, it takes us out. But we can now come in with our Drifloon here, and we will be able to wall this Medicham. I mean, I say wall, we're actually going to swap here and catch the move onto our Bonsly. No, they've also got Whiscash in the back, so Bonsly doesn't really have an awful lot of play up against this team, but the opponent banks what's likely an Ice Punch before swapping into the Whiscash. We go for the Earthquake, that does big damage, but they will be able to fully farm us down. And we are going to come back in with the Drifloon, respect the damage from a Blizzard, but it's a Mud Bomb bait, and now we're not messing around. We're going to take out this Whiscash straight away, and now even if they are running Psychic, or if they get to back-to-back Ice Punches, I still think we're fine here in this matchup. But let's see, it's going to be very close. We make it to the Shadow Ball. I think that might have even been a CMP tie, but we take out the Medicham, and we take that game. Into the next battle, we see Crustle into Lantern. So once again, not the best lead. This time the opponent doesn't swap out of this matchup, so we'll see how it does play out. We are going to let the Surf go through. That does quite a lot of damage. We're now going to bait with an X-Scissor. I don't know about this because, well, actually they do shield it up, so I guess that's fine. And we do make it to another X-Scissor just about in time, so maybe that is the right play, what do I know. And that does quite a lot of damage as well. We're now going to come in with the Durant here, let the first move go through. We probably have to shield one more, but we should be able to fully farm them down. Although they go for the Thunderbolt, they do just barely make it to a last second Surf. Actually, that's another Thunderbolt. But we're able to shield that up. They come in with a quick attack Victini. Now, a fire type into a steel bug is usually an absolute nightmare, but we might be able to make it to the Stone Edge before they get the farm down. And now this will one-shot the Victini. They've got a Swampert in the back. We've got a shield advantage. They need to make it to back-to-back Hydro Cannons, but we make it to the Shadow Ball first, and that one-shots the Shadow Swampert, and we take that game. Incredibly close. I thought they just had to give up after we saw the Unova Stunfisk, but they nearly pulled it off, which is insane. But into the next battle, we see a Vigoroth in the lead once again. Gonna go for that Stone Edge straight away. Nope, that's a Rock Blast this time. Never mind what I'm saying, just pay attention to what the battler is doing. And we did grab a shield there. We're now going to go for another Rock Blast here into the Vigoroth, and they do let it go through, and once again throwing on the CMP tie, so that ends up being perfect for us. We let the Body Slam go through. They do undercharge it, which is a nice play by the opponent, especially since they don't even take the extra Volt Switch damage there. But we come in with the Geodude. We're going to commit to the full farm down, and we will be able to get the farm down there. We have very minimal health, but let's see. They come in with a Lantern, so we're going to go for that Rock Slide straight away, and Rock Slide does some decent damage. We're now going to go for another Rock Slide, not committing to the Thunderbolt. No need to do so, as they would outpace us to a charge move. We need to force them to throw their energy, and they do exactly that, which is really nice. We can let the Surf go through. We still have 2 shields remaining, and they've got Pidgeot, sorry, not Pidgeot, Knocked Out in the back. Why am I getting these two mixed up? We're going to go for the Stone Edge. Stone Edge nearly one-shots them. It's a CMP tie. We can actually just let this move go through if we want to. Just a Sky Attack, double resisted, does absolutely nothing. They come back in with the Lantern, and they just concede the match. Into the next game, we see Mew in the lead, so a bit of a tricky lead for us. We are going to possibly let this move go through. Yeah, we do. It's just a Surf, and we do tank that. We now swap into Gengar, banking the energy on our Lucario, as it will be useful in the end game, or at least hopefully it will. We're going to shield the Surf now, and we should be able to get it to move the... Wow, I forgot how to speak there. Commit to the full Shadow Claw farm down, and we do come out with so much loaded energy. They come in with Registeel. We're going to go for that Focus Blast straight away. And we one-shot the Registeel from literally full health. They come in with a defense from Deoxys, and these counters are triple resisted, so we make it to a Shadow Punch, grabbing a shield, and now we're looking great. We can come in with the Lucario, go for one more counter, and actually no, we're going to come in with the Zapdos. I don't think it really matters here. We might just let this move go through. No, we're going to shield up the Thunderbolt. I think we could have just come in with the Lucario and go for the charge move, but instead we overfarm massively. I don't know about that, but Drill Peck will be enough to take out the defense from Deoxys there, and we do take that game. Alright, so going into the first battle, we lead Shadow Armaldo into Galarian Stunfisk. Not a great lead, but Liquidation does make this matchup a little bit better for us. We're actually going to let the first move go through. Rock Slide does so much damage there, but we do hang on. We can go for that Liquidation. That also does huge damage to the Stunfisk. We swap out, preventing them from getting the farm down, and the opponent's going to go for another Rock Slide. Here, I think we might be able to Shadow Claw farm down, and we're able to. We come out with so much loaded energy. The opponent comes in with a Trevenant, so we're going to go for an X-Scissor straight away, grabbing the first shield from the opponent. We're going to go for X-Scissor number 2 just before they reach a Shadow Ball. I think this is just a Seed Bomb. It is. We do live that. We can now go for the X-Scissor, and this X-Scissor will go unshielded. We're now going to overfarm, throwing just as we reach, or just before they farm us down here, and we do grab the final shield from the opponent. We come in with Electros, and we're able to swap, catching perfectly the Shadow Ball onto the Armaldo. That's massive. The opponent's going to swap their Trevenant out, come in with Azumarill. We can go for a Thunderbolt here, and this is going to do massive damage to the Azumarill, and at this point we can shield this up and fully farm them down here. They go for the Ice Beam, we're going to get the Spark farm down, and the opponent just concedes the match. But into the next game, we see a Trevenant in the lead. Now, we've got better bug types suited to take on a Trevenant, so we're going to swap into Araquanid. We easily tank any move here, so we don't really mind about shielding or not. We go for a Bubble Beam. The opponent banks a ton of energy, though, before swapping into Lantern. This is not good. We're going to let the Thunderbolt go through. We still live that. We're so bulky. And we make it to the Bug Buzz, which is huge in this matchup, as that does a lot of damage, and we should now be able to come in with Galvantula and probably farm them down, although they might make it to 3 Surfs here. Let's see. They're going to go for the first Surf. We're actually going to shield the first one. And now, do we go for the farm down here? We do. They make it to another Surf, but they won't make it to a third, and that's fine. Surf does a lot of damage. We swap, we catch the move. Have we caught a Seed Bomb bait? We have. That's double resisted. That's absolutely massive. And now we're going to go straight for a Cross Poison. No point going for that lunge, as they would be able to get to another charge move. The opponent lets it go through, so we're going to shield this up, fully farm them down. And what do they have in the back? They've got a Medicham, and now we will be going for the lunge here. Lunge, going to do some decent damage. They let it go through once again, and we go for another lunge, CMP tying with the Psychic, and this lunge finally grabs a shield from the opponent. Remember, we have a ton of energy on the Galvantula. They go for the Psychic, and we make it to the back-to-back discharges in time, throwing the first one here. This will grab the first shield from the opponent, or the final shield, sorry. Now we can go for the discharge number 2. It takes out the Medicham. Actually, it doesn't take them out. They swap out, and they have the charge move loaded. That is so painful. But it's a power-up punch. We barely hang on, and what a roller coaster of emotions that battle was. That was absolutely crazy. Definitely another matchup there where if we had the Ice Punch, we probably just would have won that quite comfortably, but I guarantee you we will be landing some blizzards in this showcase, so just wait until the end. I promise you it will be worth it. And here we're going to come in with the Alolan Sandslash here, and the opponent's going to go for a charge move. We're going to respect the damage, and they do go straight for that drill run, so that is fine with us. Good shield usage here. We're now going to go for a drill run, and this is going to eventually land. and it does some nice damage. The opponent is lagging massively, so we're actually going to wait and let them catch up. So that is very nice from Chillis FM. Of course, he doesn't need to do this, but he is feeling generous, and he appreciates that if he was lagging, he would definitely enjoy it if his opponent did the same thing. So we're going to go for the drill run here. Drill run will take out the Dugong. They come back in with the Deoxys, and can we make it to the Blizzard? We get there in time, and there's no way they showed this right. We're debuffed, but Blizzard one-shots the Deoxys. They come in with their own Lowland Sand Slash. We can go for that Mystical Fire, and this will grab a shield from the opponent. And now we should be able to swap, and we catch the move onto our Shadow Manectric. They're definitely not going for Drill Run unless they're also running Blizzard, which would have been hilarious there. But we can make it to the Overheat, and this will easily be able to one-shot the Shadow Alolan Sand Slash, and we take that game. Into the next battle, we see Talonflame in the lead, and we're actually going to stay in this matchup, and we do make it to a Thunder before they make it to a Flame Charge, so that is good to know. And we do grab an early shield, we then swap, we catch the charge move, probably a Flame Charge, and we get a Dragon Tail through. So if they stay in this matchup, we make it to an Aqua Tail before they make it to another charge move, and that does a lot of damage even though it's only 35 energy. We do bait out a Giratina. Unfortunately, they do just barely outpace us to a charge move. Dragon Claw takes out the Fracture, but we can now come back in with the Regice, and we will be able to make it to a Blizzard. They can go for an Ancient Power here. I do apologize as a plane is taking off like literally right next to my house, so you can probably hear that. It is very loud, but we go for the Blizzard, and Blizzard takes out the Giratina. They come in with a Scissor, we make it to a Thunder in time, and this will do a lot of damage, or grab the final shield from the opponent. We do grab that final shield, and now we come in with our Haxorus. We can shield up this charge move, go for a Night Slash, and hopefully just fully counter, farm down the Scissor from this range, and throw a charge move into the Talonflame. But let's see, we go for that Night Slash, and the opponent is able to make it to another charge move. We're actually going to let this move go through, and the opponent comes in with the Talonflame, but we're able to make it to the Breaking Swipe in time. This will take out the Talonflame, and we're able to counter, farm down the Scissor, and take that game. In a short on Yonkers' channel with the triple kill sound effects. But into the next battle, we see Human Catcher Bug, and funny story, I actually ran into Human Catcher Bug whilst he was running this team, and I actually didn't see his name, but I was looking at his team, I was thinking, damn, this is super spicy. I wonder if this guy's trying to submit a battle for my Battle of Spice. And then I saw he had the regional winner t-shirt, so I was like, wow, this guy's actually really good. And then I saw the journal after the game, and I noticed it was actually Human Catcher Bug, so kind of funny there, but I'm not even commenting on the battle here. But we're going to go for a Body Slam, throwing after 3 more infestations. Great timing, and we're able to swap and snipe with the Teddiursa before the opponent's able to react, which is great. They come in with a Shadow Muck. We're going to go for a Crunch here. This is non-stab, but Shadow on Shadow, that does huge damage there. And the opponent's not able to farm down. I think Lick would have taken them out one turn before they got the farm down. So now this Muck is incredibly low. We've still got a level 50 Pikachu Libre. We get the farm down, and they've got Umbreon in the back, and Flying Press is about to take out this Umbreon here. So we're going to go for the first one. It does about 40% of Umbreon's health, and we should be able to make it to 2 more Flying Presses in time. We're going to show a lot of Foul Play here, and they have back-to-back, but I believe we will live a Foul Play. They had to go for Last Resort to take us out, but we can now go for the the second Flying Press, sorry, and that will basically take them out, but we've got a third Flying Press just for the sake of it, and this is easily going to take out the Umbreon, and we take that game. Alright, and into the next battle, we got Nerds Rising with a very spicy triple shadow team with Wailord in the lead. We are barely going to make it to the Surf before they make it to a charge move here, and this Surf is going to grab a shield from the Cofagrigus. The opponent's going to go for a charge move after over farming just slightly. They go for a Dark Pulse, we let it go through, which is very risky considering the back line we're running with Shadow Grumping and Shadow Kadabra here, but we are going to shield the Dark Pulse. We will make it to a Psychic, and this should be grabbing a shield or taking out Cofagrigus, and we do grab that final shield. The opponent also doesn't overfarm at all. They are very low. They go for Dark Pulse straight away, taking out the Grumpig, and I think at this point we still have to come in with the Wailord here, as we can't really afford to farm down with our Shadow Kadabra, because if you didn't know, Shadow Kadabra has an even higher attack stat than Shadow Alakazam, and you're about to find out what it can do. We shield up the Frenzy Plant, the opponent swaps into Vigoroth, we're going to overfarm, farming to 100 energy, going for a Dazzling Gleam, and Dazzling Gleam one-shots the Vigoroth. They come back in with Meganium, we barely make it to the Shadow Ball in time, and this is going to be enough to one-shot the Meganium, and we're able to take that game. Alright, so starting things off, we've got Attack Form Deoxys into Alomomola. You couldn't have a Battle of Spice video where Attack Deoxys is eligible and not included, so we're going to start things off with a Psycho Boost. Psycho Boost nearly one-shots Alomomola. That's one of the bulkiest Pokemon in the Great League. We then come in with an XL Turtwig. Now, I don't believe this is fully XL, but we're going to go for a Seed Bomb here into the Hypno, and this does do a little bit more damage this season, but unfortunately it does also cost more energy. We're going for a second Seed Bomb, and it looks to be a CMP tie, which we win into this Hypno. We are going to let this move go through, and it's just a Thunder Punch, so we actually live that. We swap into a Drillbur, and once again, I think this is XL, but I don't believe it is fully maxed out. We're going to be able to shield up a Thunder Punch, and at this point I think they probably are just running Thunder Punch, so we can call this, and then hope that this Drillbur is going to be able to sweep endgame. And let's see, they've got a Registeel in the back. We're now going to go for a Drill Run, and this Drill Run does big damage to the Registeel. The opponent lets it go through, and we're going to be able to farm them down there, so they just concede the match. Take that game. Into the next game, we've got Shadow Ambipom into Umbreon. Now, we do actually have a fighting type charge move, but it is low sweep and paired with Scratch. It's probably one of the worst combinations of fast and charge moves in the entire game. And then when you add Aerial Ace onto that, that is just an absolutely dreadful combination, but we do grab a shield advantage as the opponent swaps out into Vigoroth. We're going to respond with our XL Whelmer. I do believe it does need to be slightly XL here if it's good IVs. We're going to go for a Body Slam here into this Vigoroth, and Body Slam does grab the final shield from the opponent. At this point, I think we probably do have to use a shield here, as even though we've got Abra in the back, we will resist the counter damage. Abra is incredibly glassy, even glassier than the Alakazam and the Kadabra at the Great League CP, so we're going to let the Whelmer go down. I thought it was a Wailord for a second here, but we get the Charge Beam farm down. The opponent comes in with the Umbreon again. They've got a charge move loaded. They go for the foul play. We are going to overfarm here. We will make it to a Signal Beam, but we swap. We catch the charge move perfectly onto our Shadow Ambipom. Umbreon takes out the Ambipom. We can now overfarm just a little bit, go for the Signal Beam. This Signal Beam is going to be taking out the Umbreon, and they've got Seviper in the back. We barely make it to a Psyshock. They are at full health, but Psyshock one-shot Seviper, and we take that game. Into the next battle, we've got a Whelmer into Muck, so an okay lead, I guess, but they are probably going to run Thunder Punch, so we're going to go for a Body Slam here, throwing straight away. This might be a CMP tie, and it is the CMP tie, so this should be the Thunder Punch. We are going to choose to shield it up, and we should be able to make it to the second Body Slam on the CMP tie once again, and throwing straight away, and this Body Slam is going to get the final shield from the opponent, so I think at this point we're probably just happy to let the Whelmer go down. Thunder Punch actually doesn't take us out there. They do get a couple extra poison jabs in for free. We're now going to come in with our Meltan here, XL Meltan, probably level 50, I'm not really sure, I don't know what CP it goes to, but we do let the Thunder Punch go through. They come in with a Gramble, we're running Flash Cannon, and Flash Cannon one-shots the Gramble. That was insane damage there, and they come in with a Alomomola, and we should be able to just barely make it to a Thunderbolt, and this will do a lot of damage to the Alomomola. Actually, it does tank that quite well, but I guess we are only 1200 CP. Now, speaking of 1200 CP, we're going to come in with a level 50 EV. We shield up a Blizzard. Oh my gosh, that would have done so much damage. We're now going to go for a Body Slam into the Alomomola, and this should put them into farm down range, and we are able to get the farm down. We come out with a Dig loaded, and this Dig will easily be enough damage to take out the Muck, and we take that game. Alright, so going into the first battle, we've got a triple 100% IV level 50 best buddy bug team in the Master Premier Cup, leading Crustle into Gyarados. They're running Waterfall, so they're dealing big super effective damage. We bait with an X-Scissor, grabbing a shield, even though we didn't farm to the rock side, so that's quite fortunate. We now swap into Galvantula, but we're not running Volt Switch, we're running Fury Cutter, so that's unfortunate as we're not dealing much damage with our fast moves. We go for a Discharge, grabbing the final shield, and the opponent underestimates boost the energy generation of Fury Cutter. We get to another discharge, one-shotting the Gyarados, but the opponent comes in with a Dragonite. Now, this is not a great matchup. We're going to come in with the Crustle. We do have Rock Slide to hit for super effective damage, but honestly, it's not going to do much damage with the massive CP difference in this matchup. We're going to go for the Rock Slide here. Rock Slide barely does over 50% of their health, and they get a massive Dragon Tail farm down. It is now all up to Heracross. They get to another Dragon Claw. This is going to be doing a decent chunk of damage here, and we are going to be able to just barely outpace them to the Rock Blast here. This should be enough damage to take out the Dragonite, and they've got a Mud Slap Rhyperior in the back, so we will be able to make it to the close combat, and from this range, close combat is going to be taking out the Rhyperior, and we take that game. And unfortunately, we do lose that game. But into the next battle, another Cresselia in the lead. The opponent safe swaps into Medicham. That's absolutely fine with the Yanma here. We are double resisting the counter damage. Of course, they could go for an Ice Punch, but we get the Silver Wind boost. And who remembers the Yanma sweep on this channel? It wasn't this trainer, but that was an absolutely legendary moment for a Yanma in the Go Battle League. But we're going to go for a Silver Wind on the CMP tie, not getting the double boost, which is unfortunate. Also, since then, Silver Wind has been nerfed, so now, well, I guess it does more damage, but the boost isn't as massive here, as it only gives you a single stage attack and defense boost. But the opponent baits with a Mud Bomb, we call it there. We can now go for a Silver Wind. Silver Wind does big damage now that we are boosted. Gonna go for another Silver Wind before they get to a Stone Edge. We just take out the Quagsire, we get the second boost, and the Cresselia just concedes the match there. But unfortunately, we don't there, and we do lose that game. But into the next battle, we see Credilli in the lead once again, going to overfarm this time, throwing on alignment, which is not ideal, but we do win the CMP tie, so we don't lose any fast moves here, we don't lose any turns, so that's good. We're going to shield up in this matchup. They go for the Rock Slide, and they swap into Cofagrigus, so we're actually going to go farm to the Side Shock before going for an Ice Punch. It's not going to do much damage, but no one charge move is going to take them out, so it's good to chip and dip. We come in with the Kabuto here, going for an Aqua Jet. Aqua Jet is not a good move, but it does grab a shield, and it wins the CMP tie, whilst the opponent baits with a Dark Pulse here. They could get the farm down, but they don't know the counts here, and they end up throwing their energy, so that's really good. Dark Pulse takes us out, but that would have been really scary if they went for a full farm down. Now we come in with our Farfetch. We will make it to the Leaf Blade, throwing here, taking out the Cofagrigus from this range. And let's see what the opponent wants to come in with. They come in with a Deoxys, so they will be able to make it to the Psycho Boost straight away. We are going to have to shield this up. Excuse me there. But we're now going to overfarm just a little bit, go for the Brave Bird, and this is going to do massive damage, nearly taking them out. We swap into our Smoochum. We do just barely make it to the Ice Punch before they get to the Rock Slide. We take out the Credilli, and we should be able to force the opponent to throw their energy, and now one Fury Cutter should be enough damage to take out the Deoxys, and we take that game. Into the next battle, speaking of Lantern, we see it in the lead, so gonna say swap into our Latias. The opponent responds with a Noctowl, and we are going to get outpaced to the charge move. This is just gonna be a Sky Attack, so we do let it go through. Good call there. Now we can go for a Psychic, and this should be grabbing a shield advantage, which it does, and that's probably the best case scenario. We know that Lugia isn't gonna be able to do much up against that Lantern, so we can just fully sacrifice it here. The opponent goes for the Shadow Ball. That does big damage, but we do make it to the Sky Attack. The opponent very likely to let this move go through, and they do let the Noctowl go down. We now come in with the Latios, and the opponent staying in with their Lantern. We kind of have to respect the damage here. It is just a Surf Bait, which is unfortunate, but they're not swapping out, and they eventually swap out into Medicham, but we are up so much energy here that we should easily be able to take this matchup, already making it to the second Dragon Claw in time before they get to an Ice Punch. They let it through. We get the full Dragon Breath farm down. Massive mistake from the opponent, and now we should be able to shield once, fully Dragon Breath, farm down this Lantern from this range. But no, they make it to another charge move, but I think even so, Surf taking us out, but we will be able to Dragon Tail, farm down the Lantern with our Lugia, and take that game. Alright, so going into the first battle, we lead Abomasnow into Toxapex. Not the most comfortable matchup, so we're going to say swap into our shiny Shadow Nidoking. The opponent's slow to respond. They come in with a Scrafty, and we've already made it to the Sludge Wave. We're full sending it, and we one-shot the Scrafty. We regain switch advantage, and now they come in with a Vigoroth. This is looking pretty good for us. We can now go for a Sand Tomb. No shield shield from the opponent, but we've already got them into the yellow health range, which is quite insane. They go for a body slam, it takes out the Nidoking. Now, this is an interesting situation here. I think we're actually going to come in with the Abomasnow. I really like this play, knowing that actually if we just save both our shields for our Marowak in the back, then we're going to have a pretty good time as we can fully Mud Slap, farm down the Toxapex. So we're going to use a shield here. Honestly, from full health, a Brine isn't going to do that much damage, even though it is super effective. Also going for 3 Mud Slaps before throwing, really good timing. We go for the charge move there, grabbing the first shield, and the opponent throws on alignment, and that should allow us to just fully Mud Slap, farm down this Toxapex from this range, and we get the full farm down, and now we should be able to make it to back-to-back Bone Clubs up against the Vigoroth here. We go for the first one, grabbing the shield, we go for the second one, and this will be enough damage from this range to take out the Vigoroth, and we take that game. Alright, so going into the first battle, we lead Jellicent into Lantern, so not a great lead. Gonna save swap into our shiny Klinklang, and the opponent responds with Escavalier, but they were fairly slow to swap out, so we do make it to the Zap Cannon, and Zap Cannon grabs a shield from the opponent. We do get the attack drop, and that allows us to make it to a last second mirror shot, which won't do much damage, but it actually grabs a shield and gets the attack drop as well, so they are double debuffed in their attack. But they go for an Acid Spray, so now we're double debuffed in our defense. So this should be a Drill Run, which does roughly the same amount of damage that it would normally do. Now, we're going to farm to the back-to-back Surfs, but unfortunately we lose track of their energy, and they do make it to another Drill Run, so we shield it up. We were locked into the Surf here, but we're actually going to undercharge the Surf, and that will allow us to Hex, farm them down, and come out with nearly 100 energy loaded, which is really nice play from Fly Gonna Get You. We are going to see the Lantern coming back in, so we go for the Shadow Ball after 1 Hex, and then we are most likely going to swap into the Magnemite straight away, and the opponent's staying in, so they're going to get off a Surf here. This will do quite a lot of damage because Magnemite is quite a glassy Pokemon. Unfortunately, they make it to another Surf, but they're staying in, so they probably have something really weak to the Magnemite in the back. Perhaps maybe it's a Pelipper, so we overfarm as much as possible. Discharge takes out the Lantern, and it is the Pelipper in the back, so we can easily win this game. But no, we're actually choosing to fully undercharge the Discharge there, and we're going to do the exact same thing for a second time in a row, and then we swap to catch the Weather Ball onto our Jellicent. So this is the ultimate disrespect, massive BM play from Fly Gonna Get You, and once again, not hitting any bubbles on the Surf, but we still take out the Pelipper, and we take that game. So into the next battle, we see a Swampert in the lead. So this is a very nice scenario here because we can grab shields, we can debuff their attack, and we can very easily take the mud shots even when they're not debuffed on our Deoxys. So we're now going to go for the Feather Dance here, and can we grab a shield once again? Yes, we do. We grab that first shield, very nice. And now these Hydro Cannons really aren't going to do much damage to our Pidgeot, so we can easily live that, and we will be able to make it to the next Feather Dance. They actually come in with a Cresselia. We're going to go for the debuff once again, getting the debuff with the Feather Dance, and we're staying in. We don't make it to the Brave Bird, but that's absolutely fine. We can come in with either Pokemon here. We are going to come in with the attack form Deoxys. We might farm up a ton of energy and then eventually swap into our Steelix. I'm not really sure, but let's see. They go for the Moonblast and they get the attack drop, which is really unfortunate. We bank a ton of energy and then we swap into our Steelix. I really like this play because attack form Deoxys is going to be so deadly in the end game. We're now going to go for a Crunch into the Swampert coming back in. Crunch grabs the final shield from the opponent, and we get the defense drop, and we're going to use our shield now. They go for the Hydro Cannon. I don't know about that shield usage there. That's an interesting shield, but we are going to have to let the Earthquake go through. It still doesn't take us out. Steelix is absolutely incredibly bulky here, and that doesn't quite take them out either, meaning we can come in, Poison Jab, falling down. They now come in with the Cresselia. We overfarm as much as possible. We've got 100 energy. We go for the Psycho Boost, debuffing our attack, and our attack is double debuff, but they have a Walrein in the back, and this debuffed Zap Cannon still one-shots the Walrein. I do not believe that. Alright, so going into the first battle, we lead Frillish into Medicham, so a very good lead for us. The opponent is going to safe swap into a Shadow Drapion. Now, unfortunately, running a triple Ghost team, we don't have great coverage, but we are running Bubble just for the sake of potentially potentially doing a little bit better up against dark types. We go for the Ice Beam, and Ice Beam will connect. It does a big damage to the opponent. They do let it go through, and now we are just going to fully sacrifice this Frillish. We got the Drapion into potential farm down range, and we are able to farm down with the licks from this Ghastly. The opponent's going to wait out their switch clock before coming in with a Registeel. Now we can go straight for a Dark Pulse. This is going to be non-stab, but Ghastly, very attack weighted. It's going to do quite a lot of damage, and these licks are seriously chunking this Registeel right now. We're now going to use a shield. The opponent goes for the Zap Cannon. Zap Cannon does get the attack drop, so we swap into our Drifloon as the opponent comes back in with the Medicham. Now Ice Punch is going to be super effective, but these counters are triple resisted, and we can go for an Icy Wind, debuffing their attack. So now the next Ice Punch still won't be enough damage to take out the Drifloon from this range, so we're going to let it go through as well. The opponent goes for the Ice Punch, and they might not even be able to counter farm us down here because Drifloon does have quite a lot of HP. We go for Icy Wind number 2, grabbing a shield from the opponent, and we make it to the Shadow Ball here. We fully commit to the Shadow Ball. This will definitely take them out. Or grab the final shield. It grabs the final shield. We come in with the Ghastly, and the opponent comes back in with their Registeel. We can now go for the Dark Pulse. Dark Pulse will be taking out the Registeel. They come back in with Medicham, and we can safely shield this up. But no, we're actually going to call the Ice Punch there, and we're able to just barely live that and take that game by the Shadow Machamp running the triple legacy moveset. But into the next game, we see Defense Form Deoxys, very nice lead. The opponent save swaps into Umbreon, and now unfortunately this isn't that comfortable of a matchup, especially if they run Psychic. The opponent baits with a Foul Play, so not ideal. The fact that they bait there means that maybe they are running Psychic, I'm not sure. We go for the Stone Edge, and that does a decent amount of damage, but the Umbreon will make it to another charge move. We're going to have to let it go through. It is the Foul Play that does some okay damage there, but I'm not sure why they're not going for the other charge move. The opponent then goes for a Dark Pulse, so that is why they are running a fully dark moveset there, which is very weird, but we go for the payback. The opponent was not expecting that. We're able to snipe with the lick damage from the Gengar, and they've got a Azumarill in the back, so this should be game over for the opponent. We can go straight for the Psychic, guarantee some big damage or a shield from the opponent, and we are just going to fully let the Gengar go down, I believe. Yeah, we will. And we will be able to come in with the Sea King, and this should be a very comfortable matchup for the Sea King, especially with a slight health advantage. We are going to be able to easily tank the bubbles here. We can let this move go through. Play Rough, if they are running it, isn't going to do too much damage. A second one would take us out, but they're so low where we will be able to make it 2 back-to-back drill runs to take them out, so the opponent concedes the match. That was just, I don't know what happened there, but we're able to take that game into the next game here. We're going to see Lugia into Registeel. We save swap, and the opponent comes in with Scrafty, so we will be able to flip this matchup, hopefully. We can go straight for that Acid Spray. Acid Spray does get no shielded. They're going to go for a charge move straight away as well, and this is going to be a power-up punch bait, so easy call there. We can go for the Acid Spray, and with the debuff, this might even take them out from this range. It doesn't quite take them out, which is unfortunate, but hopefully this is just another power-up punch, and it is exactly that. So we flip switch advantage there. Bit of a weird play by the opponent, but we can now go for the Dark Pulse, and this will do some nice damage to the Registeel. Of course, Poison Jabs are double resisted, so they can farm up to 100 energy quite comfortably before throwing their energy, and they go for a Zap Cannon, so very unnecessary. Focus Blast would have taken us out. But we now come in with Pikachu, and unfortunately they do slightly outpace us to the Focus Blast, going for it straight away. We can now overfarm to the back-to-back Flying Presses. I do like this play. The first one will be no shielded. It takes out the Registeel. Massive mistake. I don't know if these opponents just don't know that Pikachu Libre has a fighting type charge move, and not just any fighting type charge move, but one of the best in the game. But we're seeing a lot of no shields, especially from Registeel users, which is quite odd. But here we are going to shield up the charge move. It is the Surf, and we will be able to outpace them to the charge move, but instead we swap, we catch it onto our Lugia. This is just another Surf, so great catch there. They should obviously go for a Shadow Ball into Lugia, and because of that, the opponent is just going to concede the match there. Alright, so going into the first battle, we see Solgaleo into a Dragonite, so a pretty neutral lead matchup. Of course, we do resist the Dragon Breath damage, but they resist the Fire Spins as well, and they are non-stab, so they're really not going to do that much damage. But we go for a Psychic Fang straight away, debuffing their defense, and the opponent safe swaps into a Mewtwo. We bank a Psychic Fangs before swapping into our Xerneas, and we should live any one charge move here, so we will let the first one go through. It's a Shadow Ball, so not really sure why they go for Shadow Ball over the Side Strike. Perhaps they're running Shadow Ball and Focus Blast, but we're able to land the Moon Blast. We can now shield this up, and we will be able to maintain switch advantage here, and the opponent comes in with their Kyogre. Of course, can't not really come back in with the Dragonite. We're going to go for another Moonblast, and this should be grabbing a shield from the opponent, and it does, but they're able to get a massive waterfall farm down. We're going to come in with the Haxorus here and just sponge the energy. Unless they're running Blizzard, we should tank this very easily, but it is the Blizzard. It one-shots the Haxorus, and now this is looking really bad for us. We're now going to go for a Psychic Fangs into the Dragonite straight away, and the opponent does go for a charge move. We are going to shield it up at the last second. They're actually running Hurricane, so perhaps not running Superpower, meaning we can overfarm massively, knowing a Dragon Claw isn't going to do an awful lot of damage. We go for the Psychic Fangs, taking out the Dragonite, and now we are close to the Solar Beam. They're probably thinking it's another Psychic Fangs, so we full send it, and we one-shot the Kyogre to take that game. Alright, so going into the first battle, we see Shadow Golbat into Pidgeot, so gonna save swap straight away into Electivire. The opponent very slow to respond with a Virizion, so we can go for the Ice Punch. Ice Punch will be super effective. It does about 40% of their health. With the Thunder Shock damage, we get them into the yellow health already, and we do barely live a Leaf Blade there, making it to the second Ice Punch. This should be forcing a shield from the opponent, and we do grab that shield. The opponent does get a very nice double kick farm down, so it's going to be very difficult to see, will we no shield here? They could be running Stone Edge for coverage, but they throw straight away, so we are going to call it, and it's just a Leaf Blade, which is amazing for us. The opponent makes it to one final charge move, and we are going to no shield once again, this time just a Sacred Sword, so no coverage there. Amazing for us, and now we can swap into our Shadow Luxray. This is very likely going to be a Feather Dance, which it is. It debuffs our attack, and now they swap into Cobalion, so very common team here in the Open Ultra League with Pidgeot and double Sacred Sword users here, but we are going to be able to make it to a Wild Charge. Our attack is double debuffed, but their defense is single stage debuffed, and that does quite a lot of damage, forcing the opponent to throw some of their energy. They go for a Sacred Sword. It does take us out. We come back in with the Golbat, and I think we will respect the damage here, as it's a lot more likely that they're running Stone Edge on Cobalion. We do correctly shield it up. We get the farm down, and now we can go straight Poison Fang. They cannot swap out of this matchup, so they will definitely be debuffed in the end game. We go for Poison Fang number 2. Poison Fang does big damage, and we make it to a third Poison Fang in time, and with the double debuff, Poison Fang will be taking out the Pidgeot, and we take that game. So that's gonna be it for today's video. If you did enjoy it, make sure you leave a like, leave a comment letting me know, and as well, don't forget to respond to the question of the day if you haven't done so already. And if you want to see more content like this in the future, make sure you hit that subscribe button and turn on post notifications. That way you'll be notified whenever I upload a new video. But with that being said, thank you all so much for watching today's video, and I hope you have a great rest of your day.